Hey guys and gals, I got another one for you today. Today is the first game that I'm going to feature of the new, well it's not new, but the monster tanks that you can earn in the earnable. And today we're going to start out with the tier 6 Kaiju. Throwing up some stats here. It costs 4,500 gold if you were to buy it yourself. The silver earn rate is 130%, which isn't bad. XP earn rate 130%, which isn't bad. Free XP earn rate 5%, just about standard on premium tanks if I can remember right. I'll be honest, I'm not a professional at premium tank stats, so bear with me on that. If you guys want to add additional comments and more information, if you have more, that would be phenomenal. Help out the whole group. Crew XP rate is nothing more than a tech tree tank, and it does play up to tier 8, even though the armor is not very formidable against tier 8s. Honestly, tier 6 with premium rounds doesn't really struggle to get through this thing, especially from the side. The front you can get some bounces, but generally if you got the prem rounds in, you're going to go through this guy. It does have 10 degrees of gun depression, so that makes it somewhat usable on ridge lines. And I won mine in a war chest. I believe it was a long haul war chest, and I was going to sell it thinking I would never play it, but decided to play it a couple times, and I actually didn't mind it too much. Now, it doesn't have the derp gun like the tech tree tanks do, and that's really what I enjoy playing the Japanese heavy tanks for, is to just have some mindless gaming of drive forward, see if they know how to pen you, derp them to death. But the gun acts like a derp gun. It hits really hard. The reload speed is terrible. I'll have stat breakdown towards the end of the game. I could have definitely put it in on this long drive up, but I decided not to. Our team is up 1-0. And on this map, you gotta win the hill. You gotta win the hill. Once you win the hill, you either go back to your base, which we won't need to because we have a nice defense over on like K3 to H5. So red team is going to have to push that hard, but it's hard to push that field and be consistent with it. So if you don't win that field, you're going to struggle. And this thing can just clip off 300 hit points like it's nothing. And at tier 6, that hurts. I mean, even at tier 8, you don't like to lose 300 hit points. So that's kind of what this thing's all about. You can see it's not very accurate on the move. It's not very accurate aimed in either. But generally like to get up close and personal, brawl, trade shots. I would say this is probably more of like a corner fighter. At tier 6 you definitely can brawl. At tier 8 you have to be a support heavy, probably work behind your tier 8 heavy tanks or work a corner. You're obviously not fast enough to flank. And generally if I'm in a tier 8 match, I'll just sit behind my heavies and try to either take shots for them, because if the enemy is shooting me over my tier 8 heavy tank, I feel like that's a plus. If they would rather kill the tier 6 Japanese heavy tank that probably isn't doing very much, that's fine with me. Hopefully it just buys my heavies some time to trade with them effectively. Alright, so we get a nice snapshot in that Jig Piz. Hit him for over 300. He's not looking at us. He's got 7 more hit points. See how big that bloom is? It's ginormous. I don't know how I hit that shot, but we hit it anyways. We're up to 1,000 damage, and at tier 6, that's okay. I mean, we're over our hit points in damage, and plus we have 600 assisted. So, I mean, to me, this is chalked up as good enough game in my mind. But there's more to do, so we're gonna aim in at this tier 6 Italian tank, and my guy shoves him right as I pull the trigger, which is unfortunate. But I have a teammate that's hitting him, so if I get a high roll here, I should kill him. I think my teammate actually shot him before I shot him, but I get the kill anyways. We're up to 1,100 damage. Now, this is where it struggled. In like a close combat with a mobile tank, you have to be careful. You don't really want the tanks on your side. Even if he can shoot through the front of me with his premium rounds, I still would prefer him on the front and make him at least aim his gun. But I'm able to bully him, just ram him, and that's pretty much the end of that game. So here's the stats. Going down the turret first, turret traverse is 18 degrees per second. Not really look at armor. The main thing is the gun here. Rate of fire, 5 rounds a minute. That's very slow, especially at tier 6, but you do a whopping 300. If you do pen a HE round, you'll do 360, but you obviously see the drop off in penetration from 175 to 53. Prem rounds get up to 200, which is nice. Reload time is 12 seconds. Aim time is 3.2. It can hold 100 rounds. The accuracy is 0.43, which is pretty tragic. It does have that 10 degrees of gun compression, which helps you work some ridge lines. Engine is 1200 horsepower. The number that I look for when it comes to engine power is the horsepower to ton. That's going to tell me how fast I can get up to my top speed. And 7.98 horsepower to ton ratio is sad as well, with a reverse speed of 10 kilometers an hour, which to me is like more important than top forward speed in a heavy tank, because that's going to be able to let your front traverse and keep in front of the enemy that's trying to flank you. If you want to, you can go back, pause the stats for the rest of them. I know you guys are probably pretty disappointed that I didn't talk about the radio range, because I mean, I featured that before. That's probably the most important part of any premium tank you ever buy. You want to check out that radio range. It's the key stat and most important part about this game. Without it, you're unable to win games. That's complete sarcasm, so don't put me on blast. Hope you chuckled while I tried to stay as serious as possible while saying that, but I had a big smile on my face when I did. So we take second place, got 3 kills, 1800 damage. Pretty good game in the Kaiju. It's definitely not an ace, and I have aced this, but if you're looking for a Halloween tank, the only reason you pick up the Kaiju is because you have all the other ones. There's really no benefit to grab this tank over any other Halloween tank. So I'll quit babbling. Hope that helped. More on the way. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.